everyone, and thanks for joining the Living Desert for National Pollinator Week. My name is Alex, and I'm here to tell you just a bit about the fascinating life of the monarch butterfly. The monarch is what we call an indicator species, which means the health of their population tells us a lot about the health of other pollinator populations and their habitats too. So by learning about and protecting the monarch butterfly, in that process we're also protecting tons of other pollinators as well. And of course this benefits us too. As you learned yesterday, on average, 1 out of every 3 bites of food that you take comes from the work of pollinators, and entire ecosystems depend on them. So it's really important for us to take these steps to protect them and keep them in our native habitats. Now, I think most of you are probably familiar with this butterfly because it passes through almost every part of the United States. The monarch is the only insect to complete a 2-way migration, which stretches between central parts of Mexico and the southernmost parts of Canada. To complete this 2-way journey each year is about 3,000 miles, and it takes 4 to 5 butterfly generations to do so. So this first generation, they have been born in the northernmost parts of the United States. Their parents have laid them on one specific type of plant called milkweed. It's the only plant those caterpillars will eat. Once those caterpillars turn into adults, they begin to make that journey down into Mexico, where they spend the winter hibernating in the cool mountain forest of the central parts of Mexico. Then come February, they'll start to wake up from their hibernation. Those same butterflies that were born in the northern parts of the United States begin to fly up through Mexico to arrive in Texas, where they'll lay their eggs, creating the next generation which will take up that migration where their parents left it off, and so on until they finally reach their summer breeding grounds again and complete that cycle. In 1996, the monarch butterfly population had roughly 1 billion butterflies, but due to threats like habitat loss and climate change, that population has decreased severely, so that today there's only about 10% of it left, which means that their migration is now classified as an endangered biological phenomenon. Now, we in California are lucky because we host overwintering populations of monarchs too. This western population is much smaller than the eastern population, and they complete a shorter migration. But still, roughly 10 million butterflies used to exist in this population. Today, less than 30,000 remain, which signifies a 99% decrease over the last 40 years. Which means we have some major work to do to protect this species. And luckily there's a lot that we can do at home, at work to do so. Things like planting milkweed for them to lay their eggs on, and planting native nectar plants to feed the adults as they complete their migration. But there's a lot more to learn about these topics, so please tune in tomorrow to learn more about the threats facing the monarch and exactly what we can do to help protect this species and other pollinators too.